Jake Miller stared out the large viewing window of the transport ship. The blue and green marble of Earth grew smaller behind them. He would miss home, but excitement pushed away his sadness. After all, he was one of only 5 humans chosen to attend the Galactic Federation's prestigious Interspecies Cultural Academy this year. Still watching Earth disappear? Olivia Garcia asked as she floated up beside him. The ship hadn't yet activated its artificial gravity. Just saying goodbye for now, Jake replied. Hard to believe we're really going. The 5 human students had trained for months to prepare for this opportunity. Humans were still new to the galactic community. Most alien species viewed Earth as a death world, a harsh planet with dangerous conditions that created tough, aggressive species. The Academy was a chance to show the galaxy that humans were more than just survivors from a deadly planet. We should join the others for the briefing, Olivia said, pointing to where Kevin Wu, Samantha Bennett, and Paul Johnson were gathering with the human ambassador. Jake nodded and pushed off the wall, gliding through the low gravity toward the meeting area. Ambassador Linda Grant waited until all 5 students were seated before speaking. I can't stress enough how important your time at the Academy will be for human-alien relations, she said. You'll be living and studying alongside beings from 40 different worlds. Most of them come from what we would call paradise planets. Places with perfect weather, few predators, and little danger. And they all think we're basically space orcs, Paul added with a grin. The ambassador didn't smile back. Many species fear humans. They've studied our history of conflict, our ability to survive in extreme conditions, and our physical resilience. Some diplomatic meetings have ended early because alien representatives were too nervous to be in the same room as humans. But we're not monsters, Samantha said. We've made peace with most of our own planet. That's exactly why you 5 were chosen, Ambassador Grant replied. Your job is to show the galactic community that humans are complex beings capable of cooperation, art, and compassion, not just violence and survival. The briefing continued with details about Academy protocols, alien cultural taboos to avoid, and emergency procedures. As the ambassador spoke, Jake felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. They weren't just students. They were representatives of the entire human race. 3 days later, the transport ship docked at the Academy station. The 5 humans gathered their belongings and prepared to disembark. Through the airlock windows, Jake could see a welcoming committee of Academy staff waiting. None of them looked human. Remember, Ambassador Grant said, deep breaths, slow movements, and try not to show your teeth when smiling. Some species see that as a threat display. The airlock door opened with a soft hiss. Jake stepped through first, trying to appear friendly but not threatening. The welcoming committee included beings of various shapes, sizes, and colors. Some had multiple limbs, others hovered above the ground, and a few didn't seem to have faces at all. A tall, willowy being with 4 arms and purple skin stepped forward. Welcome to the Interspecies Cultural Academy. I am Professor Zixtal, Head of Cultural Studies and your main advisor during your stay. The professor's voice came through their universal translators with a slight musical quality. Thank you for having us, Jake replied, carefully keeping his lips closed when smiling. Professor Zixtal's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. The Academy has prepared special quarters for your species, taking into account your environmental needs and physical limitations. Please follow Guide Murict, who will show you to your living space. A small furry being with 6 legs gestured for them to follow. As they walked through the station's wide corridors, Jake noticed other alien students watching them from a distance. Some whispered to each other, while others quickly moved away. I feel like we're in a zoo exhibit, Kevin whispered. Give them time, Samantha replied. We probably look just as strange to them. Their quarters were located in what the station map labeled as the heavy gravity sector. The rooms were simple but comfortable, with furniture that could support human weight and atmospheric controls adjusted to Earth normal conditions. There will be an orientation session in the Grand Hall in 2 hours, Guide Murict informed them. Until then, please rest and acclimate to the station. Once alone, the 5 humans explored their new home. They had a shared common room with individual sleeping quarters branching off from it. One wall displayed a rotating view of Earth, a thoughtful touch that made Jake feel a bit less homesick. At least they didn't put us in reinforced cages, Paul joked as he tested the softness of a chair. This isn't so bad, Olivia said, checking the food synthesizer. Look, they've programmed it with Earth recipes. The orientation session revealed just how different they were from their classmates. The grand hall contained hundreds of alien students from across the galaxy. Some floated in transparent bubbles filled with their native atmosphere. Others wore special suits to protect them from the station environment. The variety of life forms was stunning. Professor Zixtal led the orientation, explaining Academy, rules and expectations. This semester's major project will be Cultural Exchange Day, the professor announced. Each species will prepare a presentation about their homeworld to share with the class. This is our most important tradition, allowing all students to learn about and appreciate the diversity of galactic life. As Professor Zixtal continued, Jake heard whispers from nearby alien students. Those are the humans, one diamond-skinned being said to another. From the death world Earth, I heard they can survive radiation that would kill most species. Another replied. My parent guardian said they engage in physical combat for entertainment, a third added, and they consume the flesh of other creatures. Jake pretended not to hear, but he couldn't help feeling frustrated. After the orientation, the 5 humans gathered in their common room to discuss the cultural exchange project. We need to show them who we really are, Kevin said. Not just the scary Deathworlders they think we are. But what could we present? Paul wondered. Our art? Music? Samantha, who had been quiet, suddenly sat up straight. What if we bring actual Earth animals to class? The others stared at her. Not dangerous ones, she quickly added, but pets that show how humans form bonds with other species. Dogs, cats, rabbits, creatures we care for and live with peacefully. That's actually brilliant, Jake said as the idea took shape in his mind. It would completely challenge their perception of us as just brutal survivors. Think about it, Samantha continued, growing excited. These aliens believe Earth is just a planet of danger and death. Showing them how we connect with other Earth species would prove we're capable of companionship, not just conflict. The Academy might not allow it, Olivia pointed out. Bringing alien life forms into the station would require serious permissions. Then we'll get those permissions, Jake said firmly. This is too good an idea to give up on. As they discussed logistics and which animals would best represent Earth, Jake felt a renewed sense of purpose. If they could pull this off, they might change how the entire galaxy viewed humanity. Outside their quarters, the station hummed with alien life, most of whom feared or misunderstood humans. But soon, Jake thought, they might see Earth's inhabitants in a whole new light. The next morning, the 5 humans marched together to Dean Kurnoth's office. They had spent hours preparing their proposal to bring Earth animals to the Academy. Jake carried a tablet with detailed information about each animal they wanted to bring. A golden retriever, a tabby cat, 2 rabbits, a cockatiel, and a small tank of tropical fish. Dean Kurnoth was a gelatinous being from the gas giant Jupixian. The dean had no fixed shape and moved around the office in what looked like a hovering glass bowl filled with blue-green liquid. Small bubbles formed and popped whenever the dean spoke through the translator. Live Earth fauna? In my academy? The dean's translation device conveyed clear alarm. Absolutely not. Your planet's organisms are known for their resilience and unpredictability. Jake stepped forward. With respect, Dean Kurnoth, these animals are domesticated companions. They're harmless. Harmless? The dean's form rippled dramatically. Your dog has teeth that could tear through metal. But they don't, Samantha explained. Dogs have lived alongside humans for thousands of years. They're loyal and gentle. The dean moved back and forth in the bowl, a sign of agitation. The safety of all students must be my top concern. We understand, Paul said. That's why we've prepared safety measures. He showed the dean their plans for temporary containment, units and supervision protocols. For nearly an hour they answered the dean's questions and concerns. Finally, the blue-green mass settled into what they had learned was a thinking posture. I will consider your request, Dean Kurnoth said. But you will need approval from the Earth authorities as well, and there will be strict conditions. The humans left the office feeling cautiously hopeful. That went better than expected, Kevin said. Don't celebrate yet, Olivia warned. We still need Earth to agree, and the dean could say no. Back in their quarters, they sent a detailed message to Ambassador Grant, explaining their plan for Cultural Exchange Day. While they waited for responses, they attended classes and tried to connect with their alien classmates. Most alien students kept their distance. In the dining hall, empty seats always surrounded the human table. During group projects, other species volunteered to work together rather than with humans. The isolation was frustrating. In their applied xenobiology class, Jake was paired with XRL, a tentacled student from Betelgeuse 7th. XRL's skin changed colors based on emotional state, currently displaying nervous yellow spots. I've been assigned to work with you, XRL said, keeping all 8 tentacles curled tightly against their body. Please don't take offense if I maintain distance. My species is rather fragile compared to Deathworlders. Jake smiled, remembering not to show his teeth. I understand. I promise I'm not dangerous. I've never hurt anyone in my life. XRL's spots shifted slightly toward green. Truly? But your planet, everything there is trying to kill everything else, isn't it? That's not really accurate, Jake explained. Earth has predators and prey, yes. But there's also cooperation between species. Many animals form bonds and help each other. Like your idea to bring Earth animals here? XRL asked. Word has spread about your request. Jake wasn't surprised. News traveled fast on the station. Yes, exactly. We want to show that not everything on Earth is about survival and conflict. XRL's skin shifted to a curious blue. I admit I'm both terrified and fascinated by the idea. This small breakthrough gave Jake hope. If they could get approval for their plan, perhaps they could change more minds. 3 days later, Ambassador Grant sent her response. Earth authorities would allow the transport of domestic animals to the Academy, but only with a certified veterinarian to accompany them. The ambassador had already found a volunteer, Dr. Lisa Chen, who specialized in space transport of animals. This is great news, Samantha said. Now we just need the dean's final approval. They didn't have to wait long. That afternoon, all station residents received an official announcement from Dean Kornoth. The announcement confirmed that Earth animals would be part of the upcoming Cultural Exchange Day, along with detailed safety protocols. Within hours, the humans' communication devices were flooded with messages from other students. Some filed formal complaints about the safety risk. Others requested permission to observe the animals from behind protective barriers. A few brave souls actually asked to interact with the Earth creatures. They're acting like we're bringing lions and tigers, Paul said, scrolling through the messages. Can you blame them? Olivia replied. They've been told Earth is a death trap. Anything from our planet must seem terrifying. Kevin had been in contact with Dr. Chen and now updated the group. The animals have been selected. They're undergoing special training to prepare them for space travel and the station environment. The next few weeks were busy. The humans divided responsibilities for their presentation. Jake and Kevin would handle the dog and cat. Samantha would manage the rabbits. Paul would take care of the cockatiel. Olivia would present the tropical fish. They practiced their parts, prepared educational materials, and worked with station security to set up the classroom. Special containment units were installed along with emergency force fields that could be activated instantly if needed. Meanwhile, the entire academy buzzed with anticipation. Some alien professors used the upcoming event to teach about Earth biology and ecology. The station's information system was flooded with searches about Earth animals. Video clips of dogs playing and cats purring became the most watched content on the station. The night before Cultural Exchange Day, Jake couldn't sleep. He paced in the common room, reviewing his presentation notes. Nervous? Olivia asked, joining him. A little, Jake admitted. This feels bigger than just a class project now. The whole station is watching. That's good, she said. It means we have a real chance to change minds. The next morning, the humans gathered at the docking bay. A small Earth transport ship was scheduled to arrive with Dr. Chen and the animals. Station security, wearing what looked like riot gear, lined the walls of the bay. "Is all that protection necessary?" Samantha asked the security chief. The six-armed security chief adjusted his energy shield. "Standard protocol for potentially dangerous life forms." Jake bit back a laugh. If they were this nervous about meeting a golden retriever, what would they do if they ever encountered a bear? The transport ship docked with a gentle bump. The airlock cycled open, and Dr. Lisa Chen stepped out. She was tall with short black hair and a calm, professional manner. Behind her, crew members began unloading specialized containers. "The animals are all in perfect health," Dr. Chen reported. "They handled the journey well." The security team approached the first container cautiously. Inside, visible through a clear panel, was Buddy, the golden retriever. The dog wagged his tail at the sight of the strange beings, tongue lolling out in a friendly canine smile. Several security officers stepped back in alarm. "Is it showing aggression?" one asked nervously. "No," Jake said, unable to hide his amusement. "He's happy to see you." As the other animals were unloaded, a small crowd of brave alien students had gathered at the far end of the docking bay, watching from what they considered a safe distance. Jake caught sight of Exerl, whose skin now displayed a pattern of curious blue with just a few nervous yellow spots. Tomorrow would be interesting indeed. The morning of Cultural Exchange Day arrived. The 5 humans woke early to visit the animals in their temporary quarters. The Academy had converted a small storage room into a makeshift Earth animal habitat. Dr. Chen was already there, checking on each creature. "How are they doing?" Jake asked as he watched Buddy the golden retriever stretch and yawn. "They've adjusted well," Dr. Chen replied. "The artificial gravity and atmosphere controls have made it feel almost like Earth for them." Mittens, the orange tabby cat, was curled up on a soft blanket, purring contentedly. The 2 rabbits, one white, one brown, nibbled on fresh vegetables in their enclosure. The cockatiel chirped from its perch, and the tropical fish swam lazily in their tank. "They seem so calm," Samantha observed. "Almost like they don't realize they're on a space station surrounded by aliens." "Animals often adapt better than humans," Dr. Chen said with a smile. "They live in the present moment." Professor Zixtal entered the room, all 4 eyes blinking rapidly, a sign of nervousness the humans had learned to recognize. "The presentation." "Hall is prepared according to your specifications," the professor said. "All safety measures are in place. Are these creatures stable?" "They're perfectly fine," Jake assured the professor. "They're actually very friendly." Professor Zixtal moved closer to Buddy's enclosure, still keeping a safe distance. The dog wagged his tail and tilted his head curiously at the alien. "This is the canine, correct? Your planet's apex predator that humans tamed?" "One of many animals we've domesticated," Kevin explained. "Dogs have been human companions for over 15,000 years." The professor's upper limbs made a gesture they recognized as amazement. "Remarkable, our evolutionary path was quite different. On my world, we never developed such relationships with other species." The presentation was scheduled for midday. The humans spent the morning preparing the animals and reviewing their talking points. The Academy had set up the largest lecture hall for the event. When they arrived pushing carts with the animal enclosures, they found the room already packed. At the front of the room was a raised platform surrounded by transparent safety barriers. Emergency force field generators were positioned at intervals around the stage. Along the walls, medical staff stood ready with what appeared to be tranquilizer guns. "They really think a house cat is going to rampage through the station," Paul whispered, trying not to laugh. Dean Kurnoth's hovering bowl floated to the center of the stage. The blue-green mass inside rippled to get everyone's attention. "Students and faculty, today's cultural exchange presentation features live organisms from planet Earth. We have implemented extensive safety protocols. If you feel uncomfortable at any point, observation screens in the adjoining room provide remote viewing." The dean's form trembled slightly. "I now present the human delegation with their pets." The humans took the stage as the dean quickly retreated. Jake stepped up to the speaker platform first. "Thank you all for coming," he began. "Today we want to share something important about human culture that may surprise you. Despite evolving on what you call a death world, humans have a long history of forming bonds with other species on our planet." Jake motioned to Kevin, who wheeled forward Buddy's enclosure. "This is a dog, specifically a breed called a golden retriever. His name is Buddy. Dogs were among the first animals humans domesticated, starting as hunting partners and evolving into beloved companions." The audience murmured nervously as Kevin carefully opened the enclosure. Buddy stepped out, looking around with interest at the strange gathering. Several alien students in the front row pushed their seats backward. "Buddy is trained to respond to commands and has a natural desire to please humans," Jake continued. He turned to the dog. "Buddy, sit." The dog immediately sat, looking up expectantly. The audience gasped. "Paw," Jake said, holding out his hand. Buddy raised his front paw and placed it in Jake's palm. More gasps, followed by curious murmurs. "Good boy," Jake said warmly, reaching into his pocket for a treat. He fed it to Buddy, who wagged his tail happily. "As you can see, our relationship is based on mutual trust and affection, not fear or dominance," Jake explained. "Dogs live in our homes, play with our children, and are considered part of our families." Next, Samantha presented the rabbits, explaining how humans keep them as gentle pets and how some Earth cultures see them as symbols of peace. Paul introduced the cockatiel, demonstrating how it could mimic human words and enjoyed perching on his shoulder. Olivia showed the tropical fish, explaining how humans keep aquariums for beauty and relaxation. Finally, it was Kevin's turn with Mittens the cat. By now, the audience had relaxed somewhat, watching with fascination rather than terror. Cats are interesting because they weren't fully domesticated the way dogs were, Kevin explained as he gently lifted Mittens from her carrier. The cat stretched and looked around with typical feline indifference. Cats chose to live alongside humans because it benefited them, creating a relationship where they maintain much of their independence. Mittens settled in Kevin's arms and began to purr loudly. The sound carried through the room's audio system. "What is that vibration?" asked a student from the second row, a crystalline being from Deneb 4. "It's called purring," Kevin explained. "Cats do this when they're content and comfortable. It's a sign of trust." After the formal presentations, the humans invited questions from the audience. Initially, there was hesitation, but soon dozens of appendages, tentacles, and light signals indicated questions from curious students. "How do you communicate with them if they don't speak?" asked a gaseous entity floating in a containment suit. "Through body language, tone of voice, and simple commands they learn to associate with actions," Samantha answered. "Are they not afraid of you, knowing humans are apex predators?" another student asked. "They don't see us that way," Paul explained. "To them, we're providers of food, shelter, and affection." "May I touch one?" The question came from XRL, whose skin now displayed more curious blue than nervous yellow. The room went silent. No alien had yet asked to physically contact an Earth animal. "Of course," Jake said warmly. "Buddy is very friendly. Would you like to pet him?" Security tensed as XRL carefully approached the stage. The force field operators had their hands on the controls, ready to activate barriers instantly. Dr. Chen stood nearby, watching closely. XRL extended one tentacle slowly toward Buddy. The dog sniffed it curiously, then gave it a gentle lick. XRL's skin flashed through a rainbow of colors in surprise. "He's greeting you," Jake explained. "That means he likes you." Carefully, XRL touched Buddy's golden fur. "It's soft," the alien said in wonder, "and warm." Something remarkable happened. Then, Buddy, trained to respond to human emotions, sensed XRL's nervousness. The dog slowly lay down, making himself appear smaller and less threatening. He rolled partly onto his back, exposing his belly, a sign of trust and submission. "He wants you to know he's friendly," Samantha explained. "He's making himself vulnerable to show he means no harm." XRL's skin turned a deep shade of blue that the humans had never seen before. "This is not what I expected from an Earth creature." After that breakthrough, other brave students approached to interact with the animals. The rabbits proved especially popular, their soft fur and gentle nature drawing even the most hesitant aliens forward. By the end of the session, the mood in the lecture hall had completely transformed. What began with fear had evolved into fascination. The emergency medical team had put away their tranquilizers. The force field operators sat back, relaxed. As the humans prepared to return the animals to their temporary habitat, Dean Kurnoth floated over to them. "This was educational," the dean admitted. "Perhaps we have misunderstood Earth and its inhabitants." Jake smiled. It was a good start. News of the Earth animal presentation spread quickly throughout the academy. By the next morning, the 5 humans found themselves suddenly popular. Alien students who had previously avoided them now approached with questions about Earth and its creatures. "Is it true you have animals 20 times larger than your dog swimming in your oceans?" asked a spongy being from the water world Aquarius 9. "Yes, we have whales and other large sea mammals," Jake explained during breakfast. "Some are even bigger than this dining hall." "And they don't eat you?" The alien's speaking holes puckered in disbelief. "Most are gentle and eat tiny creatures, called plankton," Samantha added. "Some are even known to rescue humans who are in danger at sea." The questions continued all day, between classes, during meals, even in their living quarters through message alerts. Everyone wanted to know more about Earth's relationship with its animals. Professor Zixtal asked the humans to stay after their comparative biology class. "Your presentation has caused quite a stir," the professor said. "The Education Council has asked if you would be willing to extend your exhibit for a few more days. Many students from other departments want to see these Earth creatures." The humans exchanged excited glances. This was working even better than they had hoped. "We'll need to check with Dr. Chen," Kevin said. "The animals weren't supposed to stay this long." "Of course," Professor Zixtal agreed. "The Academy will provide any additional resources required for their care." Dr. Chen was cautiously supportive of the idea when they spoke with her later. "The animals are adapting well," she said. "As long as we maintain their exercise schedules and diet, a few more days should be fine." With that settled, the Academy announced extended viewing hours for the Earth animals. They moved the exhibit to a larger space and created a rotation schedule so the animals could rest between sessions. The humans took turns explaining Earth's ecosystem and answering questions. Some questions were easy. Others revealed how differently aliens thought about species relationships. "Why do you not simply program these creatures to serve you?" asked a mechanical-looking being with glowing blue circuitry visible beneath transparent skin. "We don't control them that way," Paul explained. "Domestication happened gradually over thousands of years through trust and mutual benefit. The animals chose to be with us as much as we chose them. But you are the dominant species," the mechanical being pressed. "On my world, the dominant species designs all others." Jake realized the being was from an artificial world where life had been engineered rather than evolving naturally. "Earth life developed differently," he said. "Thousands of species exist independently, each finding their own way to survive." On the 3rd day of the extended exhibit, an unexpected visitor arrived. Ambassador Grant entered with several official-looking aliens in formal attire. "These are representatives from the Galactic Federation's diplomatic corps," the ambassador explained. "They heard about your presentation and wanted to see it firsthand." The humans did their best to impress the diplomats. They demonstrated buddies training, showed how Mittens would play with a laser pointer, and let the rabbits hop around in a controlled area where visitors could watch them up close. One diplomat, a tall being with silvery skin that reflected light, like a mirror, seemed particularly interested in the cockatiel. The bird had learned to say hello and pretty bird in several alien languages, delighting visitors. "This creature mimics speech without understanding?" the diplomat asked Paul. "Yes, though they're very intelligent and can recognize patterns," Paul explained. "Some birds on Earth can solve complex puzzles and use tools." The diplomat made a series of clicking sounds that the translators didn't pick up. The cockatiel tilted its head, listening, then attempted to copy the sounds. It wasn't perfect, but close enough that the diplomat's reflective skin rippled with what appeared to be pleasure. "Remarkable adaptability," the diplomat said. "Perhaps we have underestimated Earth's non-human species as well as its humans." That evening, Dean Cronoth called the humans to a meeting. The Dean's blue-green form seemed more active than usual, swirling excitedly in the hovering bowl. "The diplomatic visit was a great success," the Dean announced. "So much so that the Federation Science Council has approved funding for a permanent Earth Animal Cultural Center here at the Academy." The humans were stunned. Olivia found her voice first. "A permanent exhibit? With actual Earth animals?" "Yes, though on a rotating basis," the Dean explained. "Different animals would visit for educational purposes, then return to Earth. The Federation believes this could greatly improve understanding of your planet throughout the galactic community." "That's amazing," Samantha said. "Will we be involved?" "You 5 will be offered positions as the center's first student directors. If you accept," the Dean said, "your insight would be invaluable." Later, back in their quarters, the humans celebrated their unexpected success. "I can't believe it," Kevin said, shaking his head in wonder. "We just wanted to change a few minds for our class project. And now, we're going to have a permanent cultural center," Jake added. "Ambassador Grant says this is the biggest diplomatic breakthrough since first contact." "I was thinking," Paul said, "if they're this amazed by domestic animals, imagine how they'd react to some of our wild ones." "Let's not get ahead of ourselves," Olivia laughed. "I don't think the Academy is ready for lions and tigers yet." A message alert sounded. It was from XRL, asking if they could visit Buddy one more time before the main exhibit closed. The tentacled alien had become quite attached to the golden retriever. "That reminds me," Samantha said. "Dr. Chen mentioned that several alien students have asked if something like our pets could ever live with them. They're actually interested in adopting Earth animals. That would require a lot of preparation and training," Jake said, "both for the animals and the aliens." "But it's not impossible," Kevin pointed out. "If cats and dogs could adapt to living with humans thousands of years ago, maybe they could adapt to living with friendly aliens too." The idea was both exciting and challenging. Samantha started making notes about which Earth animals might best adapt to alien environments and companions. Paul wondered about special training programs that could prepare animals for alien contact. The next morning, they met with Dr. Chen and Professor Zixtal to discuss the permanent center. The professor showed them architectural plans already being developed. A large space near the center of the Academy would be converted into multiple habitat zones, each recreating a different Earth environment. "We will need your input on every detail," Professor Zixtal said. "This center will shape how the galaxy sees Earth for generations to come." As they reviewed the plans, Jake noticed XRL entering the room. The alien approached cautiously. "I hope I'm not interrupting," XRL said. "I just wanted to ask something important." "What is it?" Jake asked. XRL's skin shifted to a deep blue with purple spots, a color pattern Jake hadn't seen before. "When Buddy returns to Earth, would it be possible for me to visit him there someday?" Jake smiled. "I think that could definitely be arranged." Something was changing in the galaxy, and it had started with a simple golden retriever. 6 months passed since the Earth animal presentation. The Academy had changed in ways the 5 humans never expected. The permanent Earth Animal Cultural Center was now open, taking up an entire section of the station's recreational deck. Today was its official grand opening. Jake stood near the entrance, watching aliens of all shapes and sizes line up to enter. The center featured several Earth environments behind special viewing walls. There was a small forest area, a meadow, a pond, and a living room setting to show how animals lived with humans in their homes. "Can you believe this all started with our class project?" Olivia asked as she joined him. "It's amazing," Jake agreed. "Look at that line. There must be hundreds waiting to get in." Ambassador Grant approached them, looking pleased. "Congratulations to you 5. The Federation Council is calling this the most successful cultural exchange initiative in decades." Since their initial presentation, the humans had been busy. They had worked with Earth authorities to select suitable animals for the permanent exhibit. They had helped design the habitats and train staff. They had even created educational programs for alien students interested in learning more about Earth's wildlife. "How are the new arrivals settling in?" the ambassador asked. "Very well," Samantha answered as she walked up with a tablet showing habitat readings. The ducks loved the pond, and the sheep seemed comfortable in the meadow area. The center now housed more than just pets. Small farm animals and some wildlife had been carefully selected to show the diversity of Earth's fauna. Each one demonstrated a different aspect of humanity's relationship with animals. "The fennec foxes are especially popular," Paul added. "Everyone loves their big ears." Kevin hurried over to the group. "We're ready for the opening ceremony whenever you are, Ambassador." The humans gathered at the ceremonial ribbon stretching across the center's entrance. Dean Kernoth floated nearby in the hovering bowl, the blue-green mass shifting excitedly. Professor Zixtal stood with other Academy officials. Media representatives from across the galaxy positioned their recording devices. Ambassador Grant stepped forward to speak. "Today marks a new chapter in understanding between Earth and the galactic community. For too long, Earth has been viewed simply as a death world that produces tough survivors. This center shows the truth is more complex and beautiful. Earth is a world of relationships where species learn to live together despite challenges. The Yi." Ambassador nodded to the 5 humans. "These students showed us that what makes humans special isn't just their ability to survive difficult conditions. It's their capacity to form bonds with other species, to see value in diversity, and to care for life in all its forms." Dean Kurnoth moved forward, the translation device conveying the dean's words. "When these humans first requested permission to bring Earth animals to our academy, I was terrified." The audience laughed. "I imagined all sorts of disasters. Instead, we discovered something wonderful. The academy is honored to host this cultural center." After more speeches, the ribbon was cut and visitors began flowing into the center. The humans took turns leading tour groups, explaining each habitat and animal. Jake led one group to the human home exhibit, where several cats lazed on furniture, and a pair of small dogs played in a fenced area. The alien visitors watched in fascination as one cat jumped onto a high shelf, displaying its natural agility. "On Earth, many humans share their living spaces with animals," Jake explained. "They become part of our families." "Is it not dangerous?" asked a small alien child with glowing spots along its back. "These animals are domesticated," Jake explained. "That means over many generations, they've adapted to living peacefully with humans. We provide them with food, shelter, and care. They provide us with companionship." Later, Jake took a break and wandered through the center. He stopped to watch Xrel, who was now working as an official guide. The tentacled alien was showing a group of visitors the small woodland area where rabbits hopped freely and songbirds flitted between branches. Earth's forest ecosystems contain thousands of interconnected species, Xrel was explaining, skin glowing with confident blue light. Humans have learned to preserve these environments rather than simply conquering them. Jake smiled. Xrel had become the center's most enthusiastic non-human advocate. After bonding with Buddy the golden retriever, Xrel had studied Earth's ecosystems extensively. Now the alien knew almost as much about Earth animals as the humans did. In another section, Kevin was demonstrating how to safely pet a calm older horse that had been specially trained for the center. A line of nervous but excited alien students waited for their turn. Gentle strokes like this, Kevin showed them. Horses can sense your emotions, so try to stay calm. Samantha was at the small farm exhibit, showing how chickens provided eggs and sheep provided wool. Humans developed mutually beneficial relationships with these animals thousands of years ago, she explained. We protect them, and they provide resources without being harmed. The grand opening continued into the evening. As the crowds thinned, the 5 humans gathered in the center's staff room for a quiet celebration. Did you see the Federation Science Minister's reaction to the border collie demonstration? Paul asked. I thought all 4 of their eyes would pop out when the dog herded those special robot sheep. My favorite was the butterfly garden, Olivia said. Those crystalline aliens from Rigel spent 3 hours watching butterflies emerge from cocoons. Ambassador Grant joined them, bringing a surprise guest, Dr. Chen, who had returned for the opening. "You should be proud," Dr. Chen told them. "Earth's application rate to the Academy has increased by 300%, and 17 other academic institutions have requested similar animal cultural centers. There's more," the ambassador added. "The Federation Council has approved the first-ever alien visitor program to Earth. Selected students and diplomats will be allowed to visit protected areas to observe Earth's wildlife in natural settings." "That's wonderful news," Jake said. "Has Exeral applied yet? I know visiting Earth is their dream." "Goxeral will be among the first group," the ambassador confirmed, along with representatives from 12 other worlds. As the celebration continued, Jake stepped outside for a moment of quiet. From the large viewing window, he could see the stars and distant planets beyond the station. Somewhere out there was Earth, no longer feared as just a death world, but now increasingly respected for its diversity and complexity. A small movement caught his attention. One of the center's cats had followed him out and now rubbed against his leg, purring. Jake bent down to scratch behind its ears. "You know," he said to the cat, "we came here to teach aliens about humans, but I think we ended up teaching them about you and all the other animals too." The cat purred louder, completely unaware of how it and others had changed the galaxy's perception of Earth forever. In classrooms across the Academy, lessons about dangerous death worlds were being rewritten. Earth was still recognized as a challenging planet, but now it was also known as a world where cooperation between species created something special. And it had all started with a simple class assignment and the courage to bring animals to school.